I'm Ruth, and I am a brain spotting therapist and a trauma therapist here at Woven. I am here to talk to you about some of the things that I love about brain spotting. Brain spotting is a way to experience long-lasting change in your brain and body. One common way that I notice people trying to navigate their trauma is by white-knuckling their way towards the change that they want to see. If you're living with trauma, then you know that while your determination has probably been really helpful in coping with the wounds of the past, that determination alone isn't enough to heal them. Brain spotting is a way to physically change the neural pathways in your brain that are maintaining the trauma responses. When you experience this type of change in your brain, you experience this change in your life, and you don't have to keep fighting so hard to live the life that you want. In brain spotting, we begin by choosing an issue. This could be an experience that you've had, a fresh trauma, a memory, a feeling, emotions that are stirred up after visiting your family. It could be anything in your life that stirs up distress. Once we've found that issue, we then look for signals from your brain that help us to find our first brain spot. And that is where the processing begins. So I'm looking for signals that I'm noticing in your brain that show up in the therapy session. Once we've found that first brain spot, you will know. I have seen this happen time and again, and it's such a rewarding experience to facilitate that meeting between you and your subcortical brain. As a trauma therapist, I love and value, first and foremost, depth-oriented talk therapy. This is just the traditional style of psychotherapy, which in my personal belief and experience, there is no substitute for the relationship that helps to facilitate that therapeutic change, which is why I love depth work so much. One of the things that I love about brain spotting is the opportunity to combine this brain-body approach with the relational trauma therapy that I have come to value so much and that I have seen work wonders in healing those deeper trauma wounds in my clients. The challenge becomes that for many people, talking alone does not reach deeply enough into the brain to access where that trauma is buried. Brain spotting provides a way to reach these deeply buried traumas by using the eyes to connect to your neural networks that are associated with those particular traumas. Another reason why I love brain spotting is that we can process traumas that may not even have words or stories attached to them, such as things that happened pre-verbally, things that we don't have memory of. A lot of folks have trauma that has been coped with through dissociation, which is a very normal way of trying to bear something unbearable. And when that happens, a lot of times there aren't words to express what hurts, why it hurts, or where it's coming from. This is another area that brain spotting really shines, and I'm so grateful to be able to offer this to my clients now so that they have another way of reaching traumas that they can't remember, that they don't have any words for, that happened pre-verbally, or also traumas that people don't feel comfortable expressing using words. For those of you who have experienced trauma that is really sensitive or has left you feeling ashamed or embarrassed, it might be over traumatizing even to speak about the trauma in a trauma therapy session. Sometimes when our brain becomes overstimulated, it can be re-traumatizing. And so this is yet another area that brain spotting helps us to reach those traumas without overstimulating and re-traumatizing the person. The best thing that I can tell you about brain spotting is that the change you feel in a brain spotting session speaks for itself, even if the mechanics are outside our understanding. In a brain spotting session, most of what happens will be outside of your ability to comprehend it. Outside your ability, outside my ability, simply because your brain is so infinitely complex that it is always going to be beyond our understanding to some capacity. I think of Brainspotting a bit like electricity. I personally do not have a very intimate understanding of how it works. Maybe you do, but I know what it looks like when somebody turns on a light. I know how that changes the way that I feel, the visibility of my surroundings, and you will experience this in Brainspotting. I don't know what it will look like, but you'll know what it feels like to have that light turned on. Thank you so much for listening to what I love about Brainspotting.